Hello world, Shelly here, and it is time for another Foundation Fest where I do 5 days in a row of foundation reviews. Today is day 1, and I am going to check out a foundation I have been dying to try. It is the YSL All Hours Foundation. So many people love this foundation. It is gorgeous on so many people. I want to try it, so that's what we're gonna do today. And let's take a look at some of the claims this foundation makes on the YSL website. Now I checked this on Sephora. It's getting a 4.3 out of 5 star rating with a little over 700 reviews right now. And according to YSL, it's a long wear you'll love to wear. The new 24-hour full coverage foundation with broad spectrum SPF 20. It is a chemical sunscreen, by the way. Provides uninterrupted, flawless wear that looks and feels just applied all day, no touch-ups required. Advanced formula will not cake, dry, flake, or fade. It is transfer-proof, oil-free, not pore-clogging. Stands up to makeup meltdowns, combining move-with-you flexible pigments and skin-loving ingredients. Yada, yada, yada. Instantly blur and erase imperfections, pores, dullness, and unevenness. Skin looks flawless up to 24 hours thanks to the highest concentration of ultra-fine oil-absorbing pigments. Finally, the formula is infused with black tea antioxidant complex for combating the signs of dullness and fatigue while protecting skin from pollution. That all sounds wicked good. Now, on Sephora's website, they list this as being for normal, combo, or oily skin. I've got dry skin. Why would I try something that is not advertised for dry skin, you ask? Well, because a lot of things that are advertised for normal skin do work for me, and not a lot of companies target dry skin, so I try it all. And when something says normal skin, I'll give it a go. This is supposed to be full coverage, it is supposed to be a matte finish, and I'm gonna try it. I've got dry skin, I'm 43 years old, so I do have some sunspots to cover up. I have some fine lines that foundation typically likes to settle into. I have enlarged pores around my cheeks and in the center of my forehead that like to either have foundation settle into them or they just like to look large and pory. And those are the things that I am going to be trying to combat with this foundation. I prefer a matte look to my foundations. I'm not a big fan of a dewy finish. A satin matte is kind of like my sweet spot, but I do like a matte finish, so I try them all because I am on the hunt for matte foundations that work for dry, maturing skin. So let's take a look at this foundation and compare it to some of the others in my collection. Alrighty, let's swatch. First up is today's foundation, the YSL All Hours Foundation in the shade Cool Porcelain. Next is MAC Studio Fix Fluid in the shade NW10. Third up is Urban Decay All Nighter in the shade 1.5. Fourth is the Josie Marin Vibrancy Argan Oil Foundation in the shade RG10 Supernatural. Next up are two of the Estee Lauder double wears, 1C1 Cool Bone, and then the last is 1C Zero Shell, which is their lightest shade that you can now get at Macy's in the US. You used to only be able to get it in Europe, so that shade is now available here. So the packaging on this foundation is gorgeous. You get a glass bottle. There is a pump that keeps everything nice and sanitary. Also helps you measure out how much product you're going to be using. Beautiful, beautiful packaging. Do make sure that you put the label, the YSL, to the front because, you know, who wants to have their YSL to the side if you are a little OCD like I am? Beautiful packaging. You get less than a fluid ounce of product. The thing with this product is you get, where's the amount? You get 0.84 fluid ounces of product. Now, a typical foundation bottle will give you 1 fluid ounce of product. Now, you're paying $58 retail for this product. If you equate that to purchasing a full fluid ounce of product, that would equal $69.05 for this foundation. So this is not a cheap foundation by any stretch of the word. Das expensive, Kathleen Lights. But if it's worth it, I'm willing to spend money for things that work really well. So let's find out if this is one of those things that works really well. I am so excited for this one. I have already cleansed, moisturized, sunscreened my face. I have primed with the Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1 Replenishing Primer Spray, also a setting spray. This stuff is really good for my skin in the winter when it is really dry. I don't know how much it extends the wear of my makeup. I don't really think it does, but it definitely helps hydrate and puts down a good base. I'm going to, as usual, go in on one side of my face with a sponge. This is the Eco Tools Total Perfecting Blender, new favorite. And on the other side, I'm going to use my Clarisonic brush. The website, the YSL website says that you can apply this with fingertips, sponge, or a brush, depending on what kind of coverage you want. So I'm just going to use these two to see what kind of coverage each one gives. Now really ready for this day. The website recommends using a dime-sized amount. I'm going to start with what I would usually do, which is 2 pumps, and we'll see how much that is. It's about a dime, right? Not too drippy. Can't lie, the very first thoughts that went through my head were instantly beautiful. Wow. This blends out like a freaking dream. The coverage is instantaneous. I would say with a sponge and light application, we are at medium coverage pretty much straight out of the gate. Redness is completely gone. Texture is nicely blurred. Wow, that's pretty. Just wow. This is really pretty. You do get slightly fuller coverage with a brush, which is how they describe it on the website. That was all of the product that I applied. I think both sides are beautiful. I think it just depends what kind of coverage you want. They said that the sponge would be buildable. Let's do just a tiny bit more so I can even out this side. I'm going to go in with the sponge because generally I like the sponge the best, but I also like coverage. So if I need to use a brush to get coverage, I will. I'm just going to try to go like half pump. Not even, that's probably a quarter pump. This finish is really pretty. I wouldn't say that it's blurring pores very much, but it's definitely smoothing texture. It's not settling into fine lines. It looks really like a matte Your Skin, but better. Like I can still, it doesn't look like a mask. It's definitely still my skin. Imperfections and all, but improved. So it looks really natural, but better than natural. I think the color match is good. This feels super lightweight. I don't even know if I'm going to need to set this. We will see. It's setting itself pretty well. I think nothing seems to be moving around. Let's check the time. It is 10:34. Let's call the check-in time 10:30. I'll go put the rest of my face on. I'll be right back. I am back. No trouble whatsoever in terms of blending out product on top of this foundation. Everything went perfectly well. I am trying out the new Urban Decay All Nighter Concealer today. This is in the shade Fair Neutral. I had no trouble with it. I've been trying it for a few days, but let's go back to the foundation. I think it looks freaking gorgeous. The only line it is settling into is my Meredith Grey line. You know, the wrinkle that I have right there. So does Meredith Grey. And no other settling into lines thus far. It looks the tiniest bit heavy on my mouth wrinkles that are starting to form. Maybe I just noticed that because those wrinkles are fairly new to me and I noticed them. But otherwise, everything feels very comfortable. I did set my face, just the center and my cheek area, the tiniest bit, and only because I had a little bit of powder, too much powder. I used the RCMA No Color Powder to set my under eye, and then I had too much on my brush, so I just took it across the rest of my face. So it's barely any setting, but teeny bit, and everything else is going quite well. This is very comfortable, and I think it's a really pretty foundation. On the rest of my face, I'm still trying to get myself to like the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer, the second darkest shade. I still think it pulls a little too warm on me. My blush is Tarte Exposed. Highlight is Wet n Wild in Blossom Glow. My eyes, I'm a broken record at this point. It's the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette. These are the Capricorn colors on my lid, and they're just It's like army green, but softer and prettier. My lip is Kat Von D in Ludwig, and that's about it. So I'm going to come back in a few hours, give you guys a daylight check-in to check the color match, and then I'll be back at the end of the night with my final thoughts. Hey guys, daylight check-in here. We're at about the 4.5-hour mark, and this stuff is friggin' gorgeous. I just caught a look in the mirror as I was in the bathroom, and I was like, hot damn, my face look good. I'm looking good. Color match is beautiful. I'm liking it so far. It looks really, really good at a conversational distance. So that is where we're at. Now let me give you guys as close up as I can, and I will be back this evening. Check out this sky. It's so beautiful out today. Hey guys, it is 10:49 p.m. so I have pulled off a 12-hour wear test on the YSL All Hours Foundation. Where did we end up? What do you think, guys? It looks good. I shouldn't be surprised. I liked it right off the bat. You know, is this a 24-hour wear foundation? Of course not. It's wearing away in areas, but let's just go from the bottom up as usual. My chin, there's minimal wear on my chin, but at this point in the day, foundation usually looks like garbage on my chin, and the fact that it still looks pretty darn normal is pretty darn amazing to me. It has worn off a bit around my nostrils. Now, I did have a runny nose all day, so I have been sort of manipulating my nose more than I would on a normal day. So it is slightly cakey around my nostrils. That usually happens to me. It's not any worse than any other foundation turns out. My cheeks texture still looks nicely blurred. My pores, maybe they look a little more visible than they did before. This didn't do an amazing job of blurring my pores to begin with, so I noticed them, but they don't look bad. In between my eyebrows is not really a problem. It might be breaking down a tiny bit, but it usually looks like a disaster around there. My forehead looks pretty much the way it did this morning. Like, overall, at a conversational distance, my makeup still looks pretty fresh. I mean, except for the fact that my eyes are bloodshot and I'm ready to go to bed. But you might not know that looking at me, you know, at a normal distance. My nose is probably the only thing that's giving away that I've been wearing this makeup for 12 hours. Now, considering it's a matte foundation and it is not listed as meant for dry skin, how do I think it performed comfort-wise? Super lightweight. Super comfortable. I was not thinking about my makeup all day at all. I think it is pretty transfer proof because, like I said, I was not thinking about my makeup, and I did touch my face a bit, and I was leaning on my hand for a while in a meeting, not thinking about it, and I don't see any evidence that that happened, so it really did hold up well to that transfer proof claim. I don't feel dry at all. I don't feel like this is a hydrating foundation. Of course it's not, but I don't feel dry. It did not dry my skin out. I don't feel uncomfortable. I don't feel like I want to hurry up and get it off my face. It feels fine, which I think that means dry skin can wear this, because I have really dry skin that gets very itchy and uncomfortable by the end of the day if the formula is drying me out. I don't think it moisturized anything, but it did not dry me out, and that I think is remarkable. I love the finish of this foundation. It's not settling into lines. It's not settled into my forehead. It's not settled into my crow's feet. I totally get why people like this foundation. It's beautiful, and it wears well, and it's super comfortable. This gets an A. Like, I'm in love. I will, of course, wear it a few more times, and if anything changes between now and the time I edit and post this video, I will let you guys know down below, or I will put something on the screen, like right here, if anything changed. But wow, first impression is pretty doggone phenomenal. So if I had to give the YSL All Hours Foundation a grade for dry, maturing skin, it's totally an A. It is, Oh, this might be my new favorite. And to knock the Estee Lauder Double Wear off of its high horse that's tough. I might have to wear these back and forth a couple days and see if I have a favorite between the two. But this is up there, you guys. I'm dumbfounded by how nice this looks at this point in the evening. So there you have it, my look at the YSL All Hours Foundation. If you want to see more foundation reviews and you're excited to see the rest of Foundation Fest, give me a thumbs up down below. I am so happy. This is such a great kickoff to Foundation Fest. I love it when we have good ones to start out with. I'm excited. If you're excited, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. You will get notified when I post new videos. It's going to be every single day this week, but it's typically Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So there you have it. We are starting it. It's a good start to Foundation Fest. Come by tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, and I will have another foundation review up for you guys. Thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. Please leave me comments with suggestions of foundations you want me to check out, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.